Hey everyone, let's talk about that little voice inside your head. It may be loud and hard to ignore, but it doesn't have to completely run your life or control it. You can feel the fear, self-doubt, or hesitation and still move forward. Negative self-talk doesn't just affect your mood, it actually changes your brain and brain chemistry. When you criticize yourself, the amygdala, your brain's emotional center, goes into overdrive, essentially releasing cortisol, which is the stress hormone. So, too much cortisol can mess with your memory, decision making, and emotional control in general, which can actually even amplify the negative self talk even further without you even realizing it. The more you repeat the same types of thoughts and thought patterns, the stronger those negative pathways can become, unfortunately. But there is some good news. You can rewire your brain so that you are kind of not feeling all that stress, not feeling all that self-doubt, kind of dissolving those illusions in your mind. That's what I'm going to talk about in this video. The first way you can do this is through honoring and respecting yourself. Self-respect sets the blueprint for how others treat us in general. So when we honor ourselves, we will naturally attract healthier and more supportive relationships, since we're also treating ourselves in a healthy way and we are supportive of ourselves, right? Since we do live in a digital age, it's very easy to fall into a comparison mindset. And we're always seeing like the perfect little images, perfect little videos of various individuals online through various media platforms. So it's easy to feel like after we see those things, like, hey, well, I'm not enough because I don't have this, or I don't look like that, or blah, 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 whatever this person is showing off. So when we have a low level of self-respect, we tend to engage more in this type of social comparison, which can make us feel even worse about ourselves and not good enough. It can also kind of lead to minimizing our own achievements and minimizing some of our own good traits. So we may even be ignoring things about ourselves that we should be proud of, right? True self-respect comes from who you are at the inner core at the end of the day. So making comparisons like this from surface level things is not very beneficial at all, especially when it comes to diminishing your own negative self-talk, right? It's not the labels or circumstances of your life. It's not your job, family role, or even hobbies to a certain extent, talent, whatever, right? Physical things. Those are just details. What truly defines you and can further create more self-respect for yourself are inner qualities, right? So the things that you kind of choose to live your life by, things like honesty, kindness, integrity, or whatever other values matter most to you personally. This can be different for everyone, which what makes it even more special. None of us are perfect, but striving to live by some of these set values is what shapes who we really are deep down. These are the qualities that will define you most, and I think should be valued higher over physical, frivolous, superficial things. I mean, take for example, what qualities you look for in other individuals that you want to surround yourself with, right? Sometimes it starts with you, right? So like if you're thinking, well, I always want to make sure that I'm just going to use honesty as an example. I always want to make sure that I am straightforward and honest with the people in my life, right? That's a very important core aspect that I would like to hold for myself. So naturally, you'll start to only want to interact with individuals who also are very honest, right? If you don't value that in yourself, you may not be looking for those things in other people and kind of gravitating more towards those superficial traits that you may be comparing yourself to online in a sense. So really, it's really important to first start with honoring and respecting yourself first so that you can understand. I know it's like cliche, but like understand your worth. Right? I mean, it goes for everybody. Understand your worth and what your belief system is and what your values are, and only allow those same values and belief systems from other people into your life. Right? It kind of sets the tone. Your own belief systems and respect for yourself kind of sets the tone for how others should treat you as well. So keep that in mind too. Next, challenge your thoughts with facts. Most of the time, when we're thinking things, for example, no one will like me at the blank event, so I shouldn't even bother going, right? Is that a fact? Not necessarily. I mean, it's an assumption that you're making about yourself, right? So challenge and reframe these negative thoughts using evidence-based techniques. Reframing thoughts like this can turn your own inner critic into kind of like a tool for growth in a sense, instead of a voice holding you back, right? So if you are thinking something like that, well, no one's going to like me at this event, meetup, club, whatever, so I shouldn't bother going. Challenge yourself. Say, well, how do I know this? I don't know any of these people. I don't know if they're going to like me or not. Something as simple as that. Or even, well, we all have the same interests, and this club is something I enjoy doing. So we're going to instantly have something to connect with each other on. So we're going to like that about each other at least, right? Think about things like that so that you don't instantly go, worst case scenario without any factual evidence to back it up, right? Also, if you find yourself always saying to yourself like the same thing over and over again for a long period of time, like, I'm not meant for success, right? Or I'm not meant to be successful. If that's something that you've been saying to yourself for years and years and years, that instantly closes off a lot of opportunities for you. First, identify some of the words in these thoughts that may be considered like a blanket statement or too general. For example, success is a very general term. Like, when you really think about it, it's like, okay, well, I'm not meant for success. Okay, well, what does that mean, right? What comes to mind when you think about the word success? It doesn't always have to be like that stereotypical celebrity lifestyle or status that most people think of instantly. Success can mean a variety of things. Think of what your version of success is, and then think of some steps that you can take action towards to actually achieve it instead, right? That will automatically dissolve that thought, right? So an example, you could think about what you're really passionate about. I'll use, okay, let's say you're really passionate about animals, okay? What's your version of success regarding that passion? You could say, well, I really want to take care of animals. You really like the well-being of animals. So what steps can you take to create the life that would enable you to do so? And maybe even make an income from and live a very good, stable life for yourself with that passion, right? That is success. Like, when you really think about it deep down, doing something that you love and making money from it, and also feeling good every day by servicing animals and making them feel better, that is success. So don't always say negative things like that are very vague and general, okay? At the end of the day, the goal here isn't to like never feel doubt again, okay? It will still arise throughout our lives, especially as we start taking these action steps to achieve our own desired version of success. But it's like, once you push forward towards that initial barrier, it will become easier and easier as you go along, right? Like what I said earlier, it's literally just a pattern that your brain makes up. And then once you kind of break that pattern, your brain will just start rewiring itself if you make the effort basically to stop yourself from thinking in the same way all the time, right? The ultimate goal here is to just keep moving forward despite that doubt, right? And we don't have to feel held back by it. We don't have to feel held back by the thoughts that have no evidence to back them, essentially. They're illusions. They're not real, which is another really important thing to identify first and foremost. This is the energy that I received for this topic. I have the Rose of Venus here. It says alignment, flow, right relationship, and harmony. So I'm seeing a rose initially in the center here that's like glowing, and roses grow, right? And there is like a natural process to things on the planet, right? So like with a plant, it's like, okay, it starts as a seed and it sprouts and blooms and grows into a full flower, right? So spirit here is telling you with this energy, it's okay to kind of follow the natural flow of life, right? That's one message I'm getting. Also, I am getting the energy of like making sure you're surrounded by the right people, being in harmony with yourself and your own life, which kind of ties into what I was talking about previously. So you're going to need to be kind of aligned with yourself before you can start attracting the people who are meant to be in your life, if that makes sense. So find balance within, I mean, it sounds cliche, okay, but with the Justice card here, it's balance, right? We have the scales here and the sword. So this is like balancing out your thoughts, essentially, which is what we're talking about. You're going to have to balance out like this self-defeat with success. Don't be so self-critical of yourself. Don't say, well, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't look like this. Balance those thoughts out with more positive things, which is something I already talked about already, but Spirit's telling you that yes, basically. It's important to do that. Let's see. You could be afraid of people in your life judging you for making a shift in your perspective, which is understandable. If you are surrounded by people who kind of embody more of this like lack mindset, once they start seeing you shifting your own mindset into this more balanced one where you're welcoming in more successful inner thoughts and positivity, they could be thrown off a bit. But don't pay these people any mind. Spirit is telling you, if you need to, it's okay to step away from individuals who hold you back from your healing and transition into a healthier mindset, right? There's no use staying beside people who are going to be looking at you with like sadness and anger as you're trying to stand in your power here and kind of follow a healthier lifestyle, healthier mindset, right? I'm also seeing that I am picking up on self-respect energy here. I'm not going to go too far into this because these readings are extremely general that I do here. If you do want a more detailed reading, maybe check out my pick a card channel. It might be in the description. But with the Three of Pentacles, once you foster that own like self-respect and honestly use a little more discernment in the people that you allow in your life and kind of have more boundaries, maybe even they may also be swaying your own thoughts in that direction, kind of like subconsciously. I talk about the subconscious a lot, but this is about like your conscious thoughts, which is it's a thing. Okay. Anyway, yeah, some things may be happening kind of like behind, like with this blanket here. It's like there's maybe some like mindset patterns that you may not be consciously aware of that is being like influenced by people surrounding you at the time, actually. So just be aware of that. once you're able to kind of identify what traits that you value most in yourself, kind of like those inner core traits that I mentioned earlier, you'll be able to identify faster other people that you might want to allow into your life who will treat you with more respect, since you are respecting yourself more and admire you. And yeah, as you start to meet these types of people who like share your similar values, you'll find that you'll become a little less tolerant of behaviors that you may have been more accepting of in the past, which is perfectly fine. That's a natural path forward, especially if you're trying to proactively shift your mindset in a more positive direction. That's perfectly fine. Again, with the hermit, Spirit's just saying, you know, it's perfectly fine if you need to take your some time for yourself. Oh. I did want to pull one more. I got the chariot here. This is basically like keep pushing forward. This is reassurance that kind of what I just said, like even if self-doubt arises, kind of embodying this more balanced thought process will allow you to continue pushing forward easier, despite some of those feelings that may arise, right? You'll be able to balance out like those more emotion based thoughts with logic. I mean, this card's up for interpretation, but I am seeing a divide here. But since we are thinking about inner dialogue and thoughts, I am seeing you guys successfully being able to push forward through those things and managing it a bit better, and it will create a happier, kind of less. I mean, again, you're literally rewiring your brain, so your stress levels will definitely decrease, and you'll be able to move through life a little more flowy, fluidly, right? With the Rose of Venus card here. That's the goal, right? That's all I have for you today. I hope you like this. If it was helpful, I hope to see you in the next one. Bye, guys.